Welcome to today's history. May 14th has echoed through the centuries with powerful moments that shaped our world, from the rise of the Sun King to the dawn of modern medicine, from independence movements to global alliances and iconic speeches. Whether it's royalty, revolution, or resilience, this day has seen it all. So grab your seat in the time machine and let's take a trip through history together. Chapter 1. Louis XIV becomes King of France. 1643. On May 14, 1643, a young boy named Louis ascended to the throne of France. He was just 4 years old when his father, King Louis XIII, died and the crown passed to Louis XIV, who would become one of the most powerful and iconic monarchs in European history. Known as the Sun King, Louis ruled for an astonishing 72 years, the longest reign of any monarch in European history. His reign wasn't just about royal pageantry. Louis centralized power, built the extravagant Palace of Versailles, and made France a dominant force in European politics. His leadership helped shape the modern concept of absolute monarchy. Though he faced wars, revolts, and economic struggles, Louis XIV's rule left a legacy of culture, architecture, and political philosophy that echoes through history even today. Chapter 2. Edward Jenner administers the first smallpox vaccine. 1796. On May 14, 1796, British physician Edward Jenner made medical history. That day, he took a bold step. He inoculated an 8-year-old boy named James Phipps with material taken from cowpox sores. Jenner believed that exposure to cowpox could protect people from the much deadlier smallpox, and he was right. James didn't develop smallpox, and Jenner had just conducted the world's first successful vaccination. At the time, smallpox was a terrifying and deadly disease that killed millions. Jenner's discovery sparked a revolution in medicine, leading to the development of vaccines that would go on to save countless lives. Today, smallpox is the only human disease to have been completely eradicated, and it all began on this day, with one doctor, one boy, and a single groundbreaking idea. It was the birth of modern immunology. Chapter 3. Paraguay declares independence from Spain. 1811. On May 14, 1811, Paraguay broke free from Spanish colonial rule, marking the beginning of its journey as an independent nation. Unlike other independence movements in South America, Paraguay's was relatively swift and internal. Local leaders, inspired by growing unrest across the continent and by Napoleon's occupation of Spain, seized the moment to act. That night, a group of young nationalists led by Jas Gaspar Rodriguez de Francia, Fulgencio Yegros, and Pedro Juan Caballero staged a bloodless coup in Asunción. The Spanish governor was removed, and within days, Paraguay had declared its autonomy. The people didn't wait for permission, they took destiny into their own hands. Paraguay's independence was a bold stand for self-determination and identity, and it set the stage for decades of unique political development. May 14th remains one of the most significant dates in Paraguayan history, a day of national pride, courage, and transformation. Chapter 4. The Canelles meteorite falls in Spain. 1861. On May 14, 1861, a fiery object streaked across the sky over Catalonia, Spain, and crashed into the small village of Canelles. What the locals witnessed wasn't thunder or divine wrath, it was a meteorite, later named the Canelles meteorite. This was one of the earliest scientifically documented meteorite falls in modern European history. The rock weighed about 945 grams and was composed of chondrite, a type of stony meteorite rich in ancient materials. Scientists were fascinated not only because of its well-preserved structure, but also because it provided tangible evidence of celestial materials entering Earth's atmosphere. For many in 19th century Europe, this fall challenged long-standing beliefs about the heavens. It confirmed that space wasn't a static dome of stars, but an active realm capable of interacting with Earth in dramatic ways. Today, the Canelles meteorite is preserved in museums and continues to be a source of study for astronomers and geologists alike. It's a reminder that space is never as distant as it seems sometimes. The universe drops by for a visit. Chapter 5. Germany breaks through Allied lines at Sedan. 1940. On May 14, 1940, during the early stages of World War II, German forces launched a stunning and decisive offensive at Sedan, a town in northeastern France. The German military, executing their blitzkrieg or lightning war strategy, smashed through the French defensive lines in a matter of hours. This was no ordinary breach. It was a catastrophic moment for the Allies, shattering the heavily fortified Maginot Line and exposing the heart of France to invasion. Using tanks, aircraft, and rapid infantry movements, the Germans overwhelmed the French troops, many of whom were caught off guard and ill-prepared for the speed and coordination of the attack. The victory at Sedan opened the path for German forces to advance rapidly across northern France, leading to the fall of Paris just weeks later. This moment changed the trajectory of the war in Western Europe. The swift collapse of French defenses shocked the world and demonstrated the brutal effectiveness of modern mechanized warfare. Sedan became a symbol of both the power of blitzkrieg and the vulnerability of even the strongest fortifications when strategy fails. Chapter 6. The Founding of Israel, 1948. On May 14, 1948, a moment of profound historical and political significance occurred. David Ben-Gurion, the head of the Jewish Agency, proclaimed the establishment of the State of Israel. This declaration came just hours before the British mandate in Palestine was set to expire. In a modest room in Tel Aviv, Ben-Gurion read aloud the Declaration of Independence, giving birth to a nation that had been envisioned for generations. The announcement was met with both jubilation and immediate conflict. Within hours, neighboring Arab nations declared war, launching the 1948 Arab-Israeli War. Despite the odds, the newly formed Israeli Defense Forces managed to defend the country's sovereignty and solidify its place on the world map. The creation of Israel marked the culmination of decades of Zionist efforts and the aftermath of the Holocaust, during which 6 million Jews were murdered. For many, it was a long-awaited homeland. For others, it marked the beginning of decades of conflict. May 14, 1948, remains a turning point in Middle Eastern and world history. Chapter 7. The Signing of the Warsaw Pact, 1955. On May 14, 1955, the world witnessed a pivotal moment in Cold War history, the signing of the Warsaw Pact. This military alliance, officially known as the Treaty of Friendship, Cooperation, and Mutual Assistance, was led by the Soviet Union and included 7 other Eastern Bloc countries, including Poland, East Germany, Czechoslovakia, Hungary, Romania, Bulgaria, and Albania. The pact was established as a direct response to West Germany's entry into NATO just days earlier, and it was seen by many as the formal militarization of the Iron Curtain. It solidified the division between East and West, not only ideologically, but also militarily. The Warsaw Pact promised mutual defense and coordination among member nations. In reality, it served as a tool for the Soviet Union to maintain control over its satellite states. The pact would last until 1991, collapsing along with the Soviet Union itself. But its formation on this day in 1955 marked the deepening of Cold War tensions and shaped the geopolitical landscape of Europe for the next 4 decades. And that wraps up May 14th, a day that echoes with the footsteps of kings, the cries of freedom, the flash of scientific breakthroughs, and the tremors of global power shifts. History is never just about dates, it's about the stories we carry forward. If you enjoyed this journey through time, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a moment from the past. Thanks for watching today's history, where every day has a story.